would like to introduce very much our distinguished guest, Dr. Gopi Roa Sinay. He's actually the CTO and co-founder of IoT SBN Berhad. And he's also one of the parts of the chairman or the MSP IoT Smart Sustainable Cities in Malaysia. And he's also a certified trainer in IoT and IP version 6. And we're very much excited because he's the primary designer of the Favor IoT platform. So let's all learn from him, and then may he give us guidance for this very important part of the IoT, the layer. I would like to introduce to you, as an honor, to introduce Sir Dr. Gopi Rao Sina. Take it away, so Dr. Gopi.
Thank you so much, Roy, for the kind introduction. I would like to thank RF Engineers for inviting us to share the platform itself, the IoT platform that we have built in Malaysia. It's good to see there's so many participants, so many enthusiastic to know more about the IoT, about the technology. I'm pretty sure that you all have learned a lot for the past, I think one day, yesterday. So what I'm going to share today is that not going into detail about the entire hierarchy about IoT, but focusing solely on one of the layer that has been explained earlier, which is the platform part. Of course, there are so many platforms out there, AWS, Google, there are car, Thingsboard, things, you name it, there's so many. But each of these platform has their unique value proposition. So is ours. So the Favoriot, we call it our Favor IoT platform, has our own unique value proposition that actually differentiate ours to the others. So Favoriot is actually an IoT solution provider. So we started off about 4 years ago, solely building the IoT platform, and then from there onwards, we expand and we have a suite of other applications as well. But our core business is actually IoTizing the every industry out there. So because IoT cut across various verticals, from the farming sector, smart farming, smart building, smart city, industrial, and so on and so forth. So it plays a crucial role of how an IoT platform can actually aggregate data from multiple types of devices, multiple types of connectivity, and then the communication type into a single, I would say, backend system, right? So that the data can be aggregated, the data could be processed and further analyzed, right? Now, so what I'm going to do is that I just explain a bit about the platform using the PowerPoint, the slides here. And then I will take you to the live demo on a step-by-step on how we can also make use of the platform to build your own IoT solution as well, right? So let's move on to the next slide. Yeah, so yeah, Roy mentioned earlier about this particular slide. So let me just explain again. Now, the platform itself is actually independent of hardware and communication protocol. So having said that, we have actually so many implementers, solution providers, solution integrators who have used the platform, and they have actually used various types of devices. These are some of it. Libelium, IoT device, Raspberry Pi. This is just for education purposes. Arduino for education purposes. Some devices, the real devices to monitor the weather pattern, weather monitoring, in-building monitoring for smart farming, and so on and so forth. Now, as I said here, so all these devices is from various vendors, various manufacturers, and their profile are always different. So how to make sure that these devices are independent, can connect to the platform? We have a sort of protocols, a suite of codes that we have, right? So that can make use of that to upload it and then connect it to the platform. So the other thing is that we also support a few types of communication protocol, which is common in IoT, which is the MQTT, RESTful, CoAP, HTTPS, and so on and so forth. Now, within the platform, so we have few components. As stated here. It's a data management, authentication, business logic, security, application integration, notification engine, and so on. Now, once the data is in the platform, so you can actually make use of the data to build either application, or you can actually build a dashboard within the platform itself. I will show that later. Or you can pull the data out for you to analyze or correlate the data with the other parameters or other data, and maybe a specific data analytics tools. So this is just a simple diagram that shows all the how the devices at the bottom are connected to the platform and what you can do with the platform itself. Next slide, please. Right. So as I mentioned earlier, so ours has so many features and it is keep evolving. Just to mention here, the one I'm going to present now is actually a version before we're going to release a new version next week, which is a better UI, improved UI, I would say, and a few more other features as well. Now, if you look at here, the first one is a rapid development. Now, what is one of the challenges that we have actually seen and we have gathered through our interaction with the IoT solution providers is that it's difficult for them to actually upload the data or to configure the devices to send the data to either their own backend system or to any platform. So when I say shortened development time here, it means is that because we have all the scripting languages and sample codes and specific tutorials on how you can actually configure your devices to send the data directly to the platform. So you don't have to worry at all about how the data, how to configure a specific database or how to configure a platform and all those things. So that's all taken care of. So your job, if you want to build an IoT solution, is that find a correct or right IoT device, configure it according to the specific sets of codes that we already have, and that's it. So you can send the data, and then onwards you can use the data to make use to build a nice dashboard or make analytics and so on. Second is a user-friendly APIs. So all the communication that within the platform is all based on REST APIs. And we have also has an inbuilt API, I would say, tool where you can actually practice and use it before you actually translate that or transport that into your end devices. The third one is a scalable platform. So when I say scalable platform, because now it runs on the cloud, we can always scale it up if the need arises. The fourth one, easy onboarding of IoT devices. As I said, the common communication protocol that's being used in IoT is that the REST, MQTT, and CoAP, and we do support all those communication protocol, and we are also adding more in the coming months. The fifth is the flexible deployment. This is for, if you want to deploy it either on your own private cloud or you want to deploy it in an enterprise, that is also possible. But the one that I will showcase, I will demo shortly, is the one we are actually hosting it on a cloud. Notification engine, a specific email, you can have a notification through email, SMS, Telegram, HTTP, RPC, and so on, which I will also show. And IoT resources, the last one, we have tons of videos, examples. In fact, some of the example codes are also given by other partners as well from around the world as well. So they have actually tried out connect and send the data. In fact, they have some, created nice videos. Some people are very, they cannot comprehend reading. So for that, some people, what they've done is that created nice video for them to view. So there are various other resources as well. So these are some of the unique value proposition. Go to the next one, please. So the next one shows about the platform itself, right? So this is the interface. So how can you get on board of it, right? It's pretty simple. Either you go through the documentation first, or you want to straight away go and deploy it. It's also possible. but all that informations are in one single platform, right? Next one, please. So what are the features that we have? Before that, one of the unique differentiation of our platform with the others is that the hierarchical creation or the platform is. So what I mean by hierarchy is that we have 5 hierarchies when you want to create a data stream within the platform. On the top is a project. For example, you have a smart city project, and below that you have application. You can have an application, for example, smart street lights within the smart city project. And then you have groups. The groups could be, for example, a particular location, maybe a section A of a particular area, and so on. Devices are these specific devices that you're going to monitor or you're going to get the data from. That means each street light is considered as one device. And of course, the bottom here is the streams. Now, so this is a hierarchy. So the purpose of us creating this hierarchy is for easy extraction of data at various levels. Assuming that you want to know what are the, give me all the data for a particular application, right? So you can extract that based on the API that we have created. Or you want to know what are the devices available in my smart city, for example, project. You can also extract all the data based on that. So the purpose of having this hierarchy is an easy data management. Sorry, easy data management and manipulation, right? So there are 2 methods for you to create the hierarchy, either automatic creation or manual creation. Excuse me, let me just drink water. Next slide, please. Yeah. So what are the key features within the platform? I've actually mentioned it earlier. The first one is the supports multiple communication protocols, REST, CoAP, MQTT. So if you go to horizontally to the middle, hierarchy for easy management of data. I've also mentioned that in my previous slide. Real-time data display. So you can have data that is being displayed within the dashboard that we have, either historical data or a real-time data as well. And you can download this data as well in 2 formats, CSV and JSON. You can download it, all the data that you have in the platform, or for a specific device or for specific date range. The fourth is the API key to manage the data. So one of the security part of it feature is that we have 2 types of API keys. One is the read-write API key that you will be using it to send the data, and of course to also manipulate any data that you want. The second type of API key is a read-only API key. Assuming that you are actually a project manager and you actually appointed a third party to actually build the dashboard for you. So what you will do is that you give the read-only API key for them so that they can extract the data and build the dashboard for you. The fifth one is you can send the alert using various channels by setting specific rules, a simple to use rules, and you can send the alerts either using email, SMS, Telegram. You can also display these devices on a map, provided that you key in the device's latitude and longitude, and then you can display it on the map with their real-time data being displayed as well. Next is the dashboard. So we have dashboard with a number of widgets that you can make use of. The widgets consist of normal graphs, charts, buttons, and so on. You can also send control. This is using MQTT. For example, you want to turn on light, right? Or you turn on certain things, or you turn off certain things. So you send a control either on or off, or numerical value 0 or 1, right? So these are the commands that you can send. Customize logo and graph, assuming that you are creating a dashboard for your customers. So you would like to have their logos, a specific graph for only for them. So you can also do that within the dashboard that we have. Monitor device status, the next one. This is to monitor whether your device is active or not. So for that purpose, we have some kind of a periodic checking by using the frequency of the devices being sending the data. For example, if you set a device to send data every 5 seconds, and if you don't get any data, for example, about 30 seconds, right? So we have certain calculation for that. What we will do is that we will state that as inactive. So the next round, when we get the data from the particular device, then it will back to active. Create customers and provide access, the next one. This is a new feature that we have just recently added, assuming that you want to give access to your customers, right? So you can also do that, but with a limited access, not a full access that as you have. You can give access for them, for example, to view data stream, or to view or to download the data, or to create specific graphs for them. So you can give limited access for your customers. It's unlimited number of customers that you can create for now. The next is that send data to third-party servers. So assuming that you also want to send data to another platform or for backup purpose, right? So you can also do that. So every time there's a data that comes to the platform, it stores within the platform. And once you configure this HTTP, these rules, it also connects or sends the data to the another server which is outside the anywhere that you want to send to. Unlimited number of parameters in one stream. See, some platform are very specific in terms of the number of parameters that you can send in one stream. Sometimes it's only one or two, because they want to limit the size of the data. But here in our platform, it is unlimited, meaning to say, for example, you have one device that actually monitors multiple parameters. You have temperature, you have humidity, I don't know, you may have other sensors as well. So what you can do is that you actually combine all those in one data stream and send it across to the platform. So we do not limit the number of parameters that you measure and being sent in a stream, but it must be consistent, meaning that once it's configured to send 5 parameters, it must be 5 all throughout. Enable or disable devices at the platform, you can also do that. It is at platform. So meaning to say is that you're not sending anything to the device to turn off. It's also possible by sending a control. But what we are doing here is that you are disabling or enabling at the platform to receive the data. Right? So when you disable, it means that you don't receive or store the data in the platform itself. Right? So next, please. So as of now, so we have about 4,000 over developers from over 110 countries, and about 5,000 over application. Of course, some we don't know what type of application that they build. Some that we know they use it for farming, they use it for monitoring the building, some for weather purposes, and water level monitoring, and so many other projects as well. In fact, we also use it for our own projects that we actually do for organizations out there. Next, please. Yeah, so what I will do next is that I will do a live demo, but before that, I have a short contest here. Now, what I want you all to do, there is a prize, of course. There are 3 prizes for this, and the first who have registered to the platform, the 10th and the 20th will actually get a free voucher for what we call as a premium discover. So I'll let you register first. I'll give you about 2-3 minutes for you all to log in and register. Okay, and then I will explain more about what is this application called Discover. Just a short one. Okay, so you can either scan the QR code that brings you to the URL, or you can type in or key in the platform at favoriot.com, register as a free user with a valid email address, because that's how we are going to contact you if you are successful winner. Okay, so I'll just give you a few minutes. It's a very simple registration process.
Oh, I think we have the first one, Abis Oliara.
What is it?
Yeah. If we just verify.
Thank you for all those who have registered. Give you one more minute, maybe, and then I will explain more a bit about this Discover. What is it? We'll also, of course, email you more information about this mobile app.
Mark, you could try the free or the beginner, no problem.
Yeah. Free is also okay. You can. Okay. Now, okay. So now I'll just explain a bit about this price. It's worth about 134 ringgit Malaysia. It's about, say, about 30 plus USD per year. It's actually, Discover is actually an app to connect your family members, your friends, and so on. So what it does is that it has a lot of features for you to communicate with your family members. In some cases, if you have, younger one who goes to, schools and so on, you want to keep track their whereabouts, you can also do that with the specific features of tracking them. Of course, you can disable the tracking if you don't want to. A lot of people, and they ask, I don't want to be tracked, right? So it's okay, fine. If you don't want to be tracked, you can also turn it off. But it's a very useful way of you communicating and getting intact with your family members, right? You can share your memories with your members within the group. You can actually list down all the items that to remind your family members. For example, if they want to go for a grocery shopping, right? So you can list down all the items that need to be purchased, who's responsible for it, and so on and so forth. There are so many other features as well. Please try it. In fact, those I just want to let you know, those who have not who are not the winners, they can also register for free. Of course, there's certain limitation for it. But as for Premium Discover, you have extra features in terms of the number of users, number of groups that you can create, and so on. Okay. Maybe if I can get the name towards the end, then I will let you know who are the winners. If not, we will definitely contact you using email. Okay, so thank you so much for registering. So let me move on to the platform and the live demo. So Richard, I would like to have access.
Yeah, Dr. I'll give you an app.
Yeah, sure. So I will share. Right. So I have two screens. So when I turn this side, it's not that I'm not on this chair. I'm actually looking into the different screen. I assume that you can see it.
Yes, very visible.
Okay, great. So this is the interface, the current interface when you actually log in. In fact, I'm sure all of you have seen it when you registered it earlier. There'll be slight changes for this later on. Most probably next week we'll be launching a new version of it. So the username and password, right? Of course, there are pricing down there. Of course, there are different, package has different features within it. And of course, there are many more, which I have not listed here, but I'll explain that later. So let me just show the platform itself. So you can log in and brings you to this particular page. So this is the home page or an overview page that has a summary of all the information about your user or your account, right? So on the top, you have the projects, applications, and groups. So as I mentioned earlier, from the top, you have projects, you have application, you have groups, you have devices, and the data stream at the bottom. So you can create as many projects as you want. So you can click this if you want to see all the projects that you have created earlier. So these are all the different projects, when it was created, and so on. Same goes for application. So if you click here, it will show all the applications that you have created and which project it belongs to, right? So for example, this particular application, right? So MJIIT project app is the application name, and then the project is that MJIIT project. So this is how the application and the projects are tied, right? For example, the second one is that power outage monitoring is the application name, and then the project for it is the using power monitoring. So you can create as many children for each of the parent. For example, if a projects, you can create multiple application. Under application, you can create multiple groups, and so on and so forth, right? So same goes for the group. And then you have here devices. So these are all the devices that you have, right? That you have actually created and that has data with it, right? So I have, for example, 6. Okay, let me just show some of the devices. So here you can see device ID, when it was created, the status of it, the last connectivity, and so on. So some of it is not connected, so it will show disconnected. Some are very old device, right? Right. So as you can see here, as I move this on the right-hand side here, shows the latest data stream. This is the data stream, which with a timestamp of 7:06, which was about an hour plus ago. That has few parameters here: ambient light, battery, humidity, and temperature, and timestamp. Now, here the number here shows the number of data stream that this particular device is sent to the platform. So in this case, we have been actually recording this device data for few months, and we are capturing it for every 10 seconds. Okay, so this is about 1 million, 1.3, 1.4 million data stream that for this particular device. Now, API limit, see, each package has their own API limit. So what I mean by API limit is that when you send a data from the device to the platform, it's considered as one API. When you extract the same data for example, you want to create a separate application, that considers one API. So whenever you use API for this purpose, right? So it's considered as one API. And each package, right? For example, the free package, the beginner, the developer has different number of APIs attached to it, right? Of course, free has a limitation for it. We don't have that luxury of it, maybe 500 APIs. For example, here in this case, as of today, it is 9%, and it refreshes, at GMT, sorry, at 12 a.m. Okay, at GMT 0, basically. So it's GMT 0, it refreshes every day, and you will get a new quota for it. Here on the right-hand side is the SMS service. If you subscribe to an SMS service, which you will use it for sending alerts and notification. If you have set the rules, then you can know how many SMSs that you have used out of the total SMSs that you have here. Okay. Now here, what I mean, this is hierarchy. So as I mentioned earlier, so there are project, application, group, devices. So it's the simplest way of you creating a solution is practically click this, add a new project, for example, say, right. So device name, say, device one. Okay. So input, okay, Terra project. Okay. So what happens is that when you create this, it automatically creates the hierarchy for you. So of course, you can also manually create one by one. If you look at projects, so you can see here, this is the project that was created. If you go to application, it automatically creates Terrahertz app. And if you go to group, it creates a Terrahertz group and the device name that you have actually given earlier, which is device 1 Terra. So this is the purpose of automatic creation of the device here. So add new is automatically created. But of course, you can also manually create each of these devices. Now, what is this device means, right? So what does this device means? Assuming that you are doing smart street light, right? And each pole has its own device that reads maybe the light intensity, maybe the temperature surrounding the pole and so on. So that consider one device is measuring different parameters. And that is the device that you need to configure here. So if you have 100 devices, that means you need to configure all the different devices, right? So here, for example, here, the one that I've created earlier. So if you can see, I have not given any latitude or longitude, but if you want, you can also give a specific, latitude and longitude. Automatic, this device ID is created, when it is created, device type, the time zone, and timeout 30 seconds. And yes. So this is a timeout. So this is what I mentioned earlier. So if you set your device to send data every, for example, 30 seconds, and if within, for example, 2 minutes, you did not get any data, the platform didn't get any data, then we consider it as inactive. Okay, so you can actually configure that here. Okay, so you can actually change it if you want to. If you are moving the device to a different location, you can also change it here with the latitude and longitude. The newer version will have, you can actually drag a point within a map and then drop it. So it automatically knows the location of it instead of you typing or keying in the latitude and longitude of it. So the operation, as I mentioned, you can change the operation set and so on. So this is the deal. So what happens is that once you configure this, you need to use this device developer ID in your device, your real device, right? So when you configure it to send data, So you are sending the data to this device. Of course, there are a set of parameters that you need to configure within the platform, such as the platform, this URL, the API key, and so on and so forth, right? So you can do all those things here. So the next question is that where do I get the API key, right? There are two types of API key. Of course, the read-only and read-write is one, but each device has its own API key as well. Okay, for the general one, so you can go here, account setting. So here you can see your profile, and at the same time you see the read-write API key. Okay, it's a long API key and read-only API key, right? So these are all different types of API, two types of API keys. Of course, from free, if you want to upgrade, you can upgrade it. So for free, you will have beginner and developer. For developer account, so you have a developer. If you want to upgrade it, for example, you want to renew it, you will renew it here. And add-on is for SMS. Transaction is all the transactions that happen, and referral is, for example, if you refer it to a third party, you get about 5% of the subscription fee. So this is all those things. Yeah, so this is the devices until here. Now, let me just go straight to the data stream. So assuming that you have configured everything perfectly, how do you know whether the device is really sending data or not, right? So you can click here, data stream. So here you can see, so this is what I mean by different parameters in one single stream. So here you have ambient light, battery, humidity, temperature, times 10. This particular device is in our office. Of course, there's no light, right? So battery is connected. Humidity is about 73. Temperature is about 31. It's actually hot actually here. Yeah. So this is, so if you can notice here, so it's sending every 10 seconds. So similarly, you can actually set and configure your device on the frequency of the data that you're going to send, right? So the different types. You can export the data. So as I mentioned earlier, so you can export either CSV format or JSON format. You want to select one particular device to export, or all the streams, or the custom range of data. So when, from what date to which date do you want the data, and so on. So these are all there in the platform. Yeah. So let me just show this. Right. Now, the next question is that I mentioned earlier that within the platform, there's something called API, right? So you can actually make use of this API here. So let me just click this. Okay. So here you can see all actually using the normal REST formats, right? Get, post, delete, all those things. You have for application, same thing. And I want to bring your attention to this, right? For example, assuming that you want to see whether whatever that you have configured is right? So what you do is that you click post, and you will see a set of course, explanation of all those things, and the body. And what you do is that you click this. So you will see device developer ID. It's this one. So I want to send data, for example, to the device that I've just created, right? So what is the device, right? So let me see. So this is the device developer ID. So you see here, device developer ID. So I click this, copy this, so I change this. So device developer ID. And then let me just make it bigger. Right. So I set, for example, this is how you're going to set it within your real device, right? So say about temperature, say about 40. Okay. So what happens is that, so you can test it out here. So test it out. Okay. So you try it out. What happens, you will see that a stream has been created. right? Now, when you look at the data stream itself, right? So you see here, so this is the data that you have just created using the API itself, right? So within the platform, this one. Okay. So you can make use of these functions. Now, assuming, so how do you know whether it's correct? So if a stream is created, means that it's correct. Let me just change a bit. Say I remove this, right? So it will show there's an error. Let's see. Error, no response from server. Why is it error? Error is because you have missed out the. Okay, so that's it. And then you can try it out. So this is how you try it out first. You see the data is actually in the platform, and then you use the same code here as mentioned here in your real device to send the data. Okay, so that is the testing out the one, and then we have say GraphBot. Now GraphBot is actually a dashboard, an internal dashboard, and you can actually build your own dashboard. There are multiple gadgets, widgets. For example, a text base. You have a connectivity status. So here is only one devices which is active. The rest all inactive. You have a display of the temperature data. So it changes. This is real time. This is also real time. This is also real time. This is also, both of these are real time. So you can have one single graph, sorry, line chart. You can have two parameters within a graph. This is a control, and this is again a card. Right. So these are various types of widgets that you can add on. Assuming that you want to add another widget, click on the widget, select. See, all the devices that you have created will be here. Okay, select which particular, say, example, temperature, finalize. So this is the graph type. Okay, temperature. Okay, let's make it faster. Let's create smooth, create. So it should create a graph here. There it goes. So this graph, so you can see here, right? So a smooth graph. So as the new data comes in, it will automatically plot it here. So you can just wait for maybe another 10 seconds. You should get the new data. Okay, so while waiting for this data for the graph, so here, there you go. So this is 31.8. No. You can also put a threshold value if you want to within the chart that you have, right? So this is about the widgets. And of course, there is an option if you want to make this particular dashboard public. Go back here. So for example, if you click, sorry, setting, right? So you see here the name. This is the URL. Of course, it's a long URL, but you can use it. The shortened URL. This one, and then you just copy this and you view it in the dashboard. So you will see the same thing, but this only view only. So assuming that you want to build, something and you want to make it public, or some stakeholders, they want to see this, so you can create, a logo, their logo, maybe the title of it, and all the different charts, and they're also real time. So all these are real time, right? So this. Okay. So let's go back. So you can create as many graphs. Of course, just want to let you know, even though you can create as many graphs, you must also understand that the more graph that you create, right, the more widget that you use, it will take up a lot of memory as well. Okay, within your laptop and so on. So this is about the GraphBot. Let me go to the rules. So this is where you create rules to send alerts, right, to specific channels, right? So for example, let's say I create one rule here. Rules select, say, one device. Let's assume that we do for this. Yeah, so let's do this. Okay, so we have temperature. So what is the rule, right? So because it is sending every 10 seconds, it's easy for me to show. So let's say temperature more than, so we have 30. So let's say 30. Now the next thing is that, yes, that's it, right? So that's how, what, sorry, stream.temperature. Stream.temperature. This must be the same name. Stream is the stream that, it's called stream. And what are you going to do with it, right? So assuming you want to send an email. So let's start with the email first. So I will send it to myself. Okay, message, temperature is high. Okay. So this is the trigger. Now, the purpose of trigger is sometimes, right, if you don't have this, it will keep on sending whenever the threshold is, breached. But here I can actually set, for example, only 3 times. I don't want many times, right? So I create. Okay, it's successfully created. Let me just show the message that I should get. Yeah, so I got the message. Okay, can you see? Okay, can you see this? Can you see the email?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Right. So this is email. So you will see from home, right? So you are receiving the alert. So I should receive actually 3. Let me see. Yeah, 3. Right? Because I set it as 3 times that I can receive it. So if you set 10 times, once the data comes to the platform and it reaches the threshold, it checks the rules and then it automatically sends to this particular way. So you will see the data in here, right? And the message it is, which device it is. So this is how the rules is set. If you use email, same goes for SMS. So for SMS, of course, you must have the credit. You send it, you receive your SMS. Telegram is a bit specific, right? So you need to create a Telegram bot in order for you to use it and send. So let me just see if I can do this. Okay, so you need to have a bot father. So in Telegram, so you do this bot father. So you do, say, you create a new bot. So what is the new bot called? Say, Terrabot. Okay, so username, say Terra bot. Okay, so you have this. So you need to copy this thing. Right, so copy this. And then go back to here, platform here. That's it. Rule, we'll set the rules. Stream dot. Let me just close this. And next the rule. Telegram. So you key in your, so I leave the others the same. So you key in the API key that has been generated by the Telegram bot. And what it will do is that oh, sorry, I've not started the bot. Yeah. So what you need to do after you create this is that you need to click this. So this is the bot and you need to start it. Right, so start and then go to here. Okay, so you do this. So you will see this one generated. So what happens, the backend system, this platform checks with the Telegram, gets the ID, and you can set update. So same the trigger. So you update it. So within the bot, right? So see when you create the bot, yeah. So this is the one, right? So you can create a group, and within the group, you can create this bot. For example, for admin purposes, for facility purposes, and all those things. They want to know, for example, temperature in the server room is very high, for example. So what do you do? Or there's no power, then what do you do, right? So you see the 3 alerts that has been sent. Same thing. So every 10 seconds, I will get that because I'm generating the data every 10 seconds. The same thing. So the message is there and so on. So this is using the bot, right? So similarly, you can also use it. Sorry. So let me just go back here. So you can also use it HTTP post and RPC. Again, HTTP post, HTTP post is if you want to send your data to a specific server outside, once you configured, you set your header definition here, and then you update, and then you send it across. Same thing for RPC. So you can also do that for RPC. But instead of me doing this way, let me see if I can do this. Let's see if we have time. Yeah, we do have time, right? Richard or Roy, do we have time?
Yeah, we still have.
Okay. So what I will show now is that I will create this. Hold on. I just want to show the MQTT, how it works, right? Okay, so this is the MQTT. Now, because I want to get the data from this particular device, because I've already configured the device. So let me go to this device, this one, right? So check what is the device access token. So there's an access token for each device. You need to copy that. And then, so this is using a common web MQTT client. Okay, so same one here. So this is token, and then I connect to it. Okay, and then I subscribe to it. Say I subscribe to, oh, it's already there. Okay, so subscribe. Now, so what happens is that even if you create the rules, you should see the messages here. Or assuming that your device is capable of receiving data and certain command, it will actually get the command in how you interpret it. For example, 1 is turn it on, 0 is turn it off. So this is how you, but here what I'm going to show is that the message that is generated when you click GraphBot, right? So let's say, so I create a new widget for this. I create a button. Okay, test. And what is the value that I want, right? Control, for example. Okay, output value is 1. Click here. So this is which device that you want to send the widget. So you click this. So you will see the widget. Yeah. So when I press this, what happens is that it sends an MQTT message to the subscribed here a channel. Right? For example, say here. So you get this one. So this is just an example to show that when you click, so you get a message here. So similarly, it can automate it using the same rules. So when there is, for example, a certain thing that happened within the temperature, you want to shut off maybe the power, I don't know, power or something in certain areas. So you can do that. You send a command. So using that command, you can do certain things. So this is just to show how MQTT works. Okay. Earlier, what I've shown is that all using REST. This is using MQTT, right? So the next one is the map. So here you will see, of course, the new one, you don't see map, a new version, don't see the sidebar here as a map, but map will still be there in a different location. But here what you can see is that all the devices that has been configured with the latitude and longitude. So here you can see different color that shows one is active, one is not. So when you click, so you will see when it was created, the particular device, when it was created, the type of data stream, so ambient light, battery, humidity, temperature, the same thing, right? But you are seeing it here. So every time there's a new data stream, that's why you see a change in color, right? So when the platform received it, it changed again. So this is how you see. So similarly, if you click the one is not active, of course, no active, there's no data, but you can see still other parameters as well, right? So you can plot all the devices in all the location here. Again, the table here just shows all the devices, the status of it, and so on and so forth, right? So you can see that connected is true, only one device is connected, the location of it, and so on. Of course, the others, the customers. Now, this is a new feature where we provide limited access to your customers, okay, to our customers. By limited access means is that you can set, let me just show one example. Okay, so there is a client here. So view the client. So here you can set roles. The roles could be admin or could be a normal user. So if you see the roles here, this is supervisor. And what is the access that you are giving, right? For example, for the projects, for the graph board, which specific graph board? So what we do is that you give access based on the project. And within the project, if you have certain graph board, all the graph board can be viewed by this particular users that are attached to these roles. Okay. So similarly, we can add more roles, and then you create a specific user that will have access to this. So when they give access, the same method as you log in, they log in, and then they will have, instead all these features here, they will have limited access. If they only can see the graph, then they can only see the graph. If they are given access to download the data, only that. And so it's a very limited access. Okay. Now that is actually kind of a short overview. Of course, it's easy said than done. You need to practice it. You need to go and understand each of it. And for that purpose, we do have the tutorials. So all the tutorials is available. So if you see here, there's a different scripting languages here. So depending on the type of scripting languages that you use to code and then upload to your device, you can make use of that. So here are the codes, right? So Python or JavaScript or Java. So you have all those things. These actually are snippets of the code. Of course, you need to build the entire code, but you can make use of this, change certain parameters, and then it's good to be used. So let me just, okay. So similarly, so all those things informations are available. Tutorials. Okay, so for tutorials, same thing, how to use the graph and so on. There are also videos as well. Okay, so, and then we have Arduino. Let's see, the entire code is there. And also how to use MQTT, how to use CoAP, and so on. Now, besides that, we also, of course, have tutorials. So tutorials consist of video tutorials. So you can subscribe to our favorite platform, and you can see tons of videos on how to do specific things. And also, if you look GitHub, we also have sample codes. That's as I mentioned earlier. Some is from us, some is uploaded by our clients and the users that have used it for the benefit of all the others. Okay, so I think that is much of it. Now, of course, if most of you have registered as a free user, and if you are keen to subscribe to the platform, there is a discount, a 5% discount. I think I will stop here for now. I think I can share the slide that has the discount voucher. Okay, let's see. Adrian, can you bring
share
up the
it
slides?
also,
Yeah.
Please hold on.
Yeah, sure.
There you go.
Yes, thank you. So there's a special 5% discount. As I mentioned earlier, the beginner account is about $20 plus dollars, right? Less than $25, about 100 ringgit, and you get about 5% discount for that. But if you want more features, you want the customer features towards the end that I've mentioned, and many other features as well, you can go for the the developer plan, right? So the developer plan, which is 1,200 ringgit, is about 250 plus USD. So it's up to you. So, but of course, when you subscribe to it, they will ask for the voucher. So make use of this voucher, right? Terrahertz B for beginner plan or Terrahertz D for developer plan. It will valid for a year. Yeah. Oh yeah. So for a year. So you can request your friends, maybe those who ever wanted it, right? So it's unlimited a number of this voucher codes for a year. So if you are keen, please subscribe. And if you have any issues, that you cannot, get the voucher code and so on, please contact us. We are always there to help you to be on board. And in fact, we do get a lot of questions on certain things. You can either refer to the forum that we have, or you can directly connect us through email as well. Yeah, so with that, thank you so much for listening. I hope it is beneficial for you to start if you haven't started any IoT project. But if you have started, if you have an IoT project, do take a look at our platform and see how it can actually add values or create a better end-to-end solution that you are providing to your end users. So with that, thank you so much. I'll pass it back to Roy or Richard. And maybe you can have a question and answer, maybe.
Yep. Maybe Claire and Adrian and Roy could join us on the question and answer.
Yeah, sure. But I think the first two questions, this is already directed to Dr. Gopi. Dr. Gopi, there's a question from William Palermo. Dr. Rao or Dr. Gopi, good day. I would like to ask about the security of our IoT devices and AIP platform. What security measures do you use?
Right. Good question. See, there are various levels of security. Within the devices, you would have a device level security, higher encryption and so on and so forth. But as you know, IoT devices have a very limited processing power, and they cannot actually process a very high-end encryption and so on. So for that, what we have done is that, platform, all communication is actually on SSL, right? HTTPS, right? So TLS 1.2, if not mistaken. So that's what we have been using. And any communications between the device to the platform, you must make or use the API key that we have with it, and also the device developer ID. So there are multiple layers. First, you use the specific device ID. Second is the very long API key that you have. Of course, people want to steal also, very difficult for them to steal. And then the next, of course, it's encrypted. Data is encrypted. End-to-end data is encrypted. But of course, some people will ask, do you have extra than that? No, we do not have extra than that for now. Yeah, so that's the first.
Wow.
The second question, give example what type and kind of IT devices that can be utilized. As I mentioned earlier in my beginning of my presentation, the platform is actually an hardware independent. Having said that, when I say hardware independent, assuming that you have a device, right? Off-the-shelf device, and you can configure it, right? First thing that you must configure the device to send the data. So once you can configure the device, and you can configure to support either MQTT, CoAP, HTTP, you can send to the platform. There's no issue, right? It could be, a simple like, Arduino, it could have complex like, production level devices. The first thing is that it is configurable and supports the communication protocol that I mentioned. And it should be good to be used within the platform.
Okay.
Any devices, yeah.
Well, that's good. Sir Gopi, I have a personal question for you, because we're trying to have more response from the participants. If ever on the actual master class, which you will be also be involved, can they bring their own just a simple Arduino and plug it into the PC and do something with the platform? Do you suggest that, or how do we really use or maximize that platform? Because all of us are usually beginners.
Yes.
Some maybe have a higher learning curve already, but then for most of us, including members of the core team, we are really trying to understand how to, because they're already coding, we are not really into coding much. So it is actually challenging us getting out of our comfort zone to study more. So what do you suggest?
Yeah, great. In fact, if you're talking about beginners, as you correctly pointed out, if they already have a simple kit, right? So it could be Arduino kit, it could be a Raspberry Pi, or there's so many IoT development kit out there. If you are comfortable with that, and they have some experience to, configuring and doing, yes, definitely we can do that. Those who do not have any device, right? What we can also do is that they can actually simulate the data using specific tools. For example, Postman, or they can use a web-based simulation tool. So what the simulation tool will do, you create the device start, you create the parameters, right? As if it's a real type of data. And then you test it to the platform. The data will still be generated, the data will still be sent to the platform, and from the platform, you can still create the graphs and so on. So these are the 2 steps. So I will always, even for beginners trainings that we do, we always go step by step. First, try to understand how the data is actually formed using the tools, the software tools that is freely available. Most of the time, I would recommend Postman. The next step after that is that once they understand that, then go to the devices itself. The simple devices like Arduino, they have so many tutorials how to configure and so on. Next stage is that they're familiarized with that, they are comfortable, then they go for real, devices to be deployed.
Okay. That's very good, Dr. Gopi. Hopefully, we can do that in the masterclass. It will very much excite people here.
Right.
It will generate, my God, it will generate excitement. They can bring it, and you can do it. You can give us some sort of a specific task to do, and we'll try it. And that's something that would generate something, because most of us are beginners.
Yes.
We are, because we believe in this technology that will jumpstart. We're talking of a huge something like 30 billion connected devices. So that's no joke, but it's happening already. You have 110 countries doing it. That's simple. But then, can you see the question and answer chat box?
Yes.
Can we answer that, please?
Yes.
Yeah.
The first one, IPv6 doesn't have backward compatibility. If IoT was deployed via V4 and V6 will be used later. So can both protocols work in parallel? If they do, there will be any significant disruption. Now this, in fact, I know one person is actually from Philippines who's actually kind of an expert in IPv6. So we actually worked together last time. I think Lawrence, I'm not so sure if he's still there or not. So IPv6 is very unique. For what happened was, what you correctly pointed out, doesn't have backward compatibility. Yes, true. For these small devices, right, they have created 6 LoWPAN, low power wireless personal network, which is a reduced size of the IPv6. Now, the question is, if IoT was deployed V4 and IPv6 will be later used, can both protocols work in parallel? See, for platform wise, there was no issue because, as I mentioned earlier, it's independent of the stack, communication stack. It all goes back to your device. Does your device supports both the protocol, right? If you want to have V4 now, and in the future you want to migrate, does your device supports it? Or one step back, when I say your device, it's your communication stack within the device, because it could be a simple, I would say, operating system that's being used within the device, right? Sometimes it doesn't support because it increases memory. Sometimes if you have big memory and the operating system supports it, there's no issue at all, right? Of course, there are step-by-step. You can have V4 and then tunnel it to V6 is also possible. There are various other ways as well that has been, planned for in the smooth transition between V4 and V6. The platform-wise, there was no issue that sense. Okay, let me go. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, Richard.
I'll just read the question for you, Dr. Gopi.
Yeah, sure.
Emerson Brian. Hi, Dr. Rao. Can we integrate Favor IoT platform from other APIs like RPG, Kafka, etc.?
Yeah. So if you want to integrate in a sense of extracting data to build a nice dashboard, yes, you can. But I'm not so sure in this sense what the purpose of integrating it. Okay, there are two ways of integrating. One, you integrate to push the data out, like I mentioned earlier. That means you have a third-party service that's running. You can do that. Or you integrate it in terms of your extracting the data from the platform. So these are two ways that you can do that. Okay, I hope that answers it.
Thank you. Next question from Arwin. Sir Gopi, question, do you have devices or equipment in your area using this platform? And what if my internet was cut, it has a backup or other connectivity backups?
Okay, so the first question is that, do you have devices? We are not device manufacturers or equipment manufacturers. We are solely focusing on the platform. But having said that, for the past 4 years, we have created an ecosystem here. So what is the ecosystem consist of? Is the ecosystem that consists of the device manufacturers, solution providers, application providers, and so on. So for example, if you say that you want a farming tool or farming sensors or weather monitoring station, right? So we can actually give you the person or the organization who creates that type of sensors, right? And these are all proven to be connected to the platform. Now, the next question is, what if my internet was cut? It has, well, again, internet cut in a sense of from the device layer, then you need to have a backup plan. Okay. So one option, the recently that what we have done is that this organization, they want to monitor the power within their server room. So what happens is a lot of power trips, blackouts. See, for that, if you use the existing power, when it's blackout, the sensor also will die. So what we did was, we have a separate communication module within the device, and we have a backup power within that sensor device. So when there is a power down, the sensor detects it and send it using the 4G SIM that we already have within the device. So we don't use the Wi-Fi, we don't use the we don't tap into the power source. So we use the backup. So similarly, any device, they should have something, that type of arrangement, that type of configuration.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Gopi. Next question would be coming from, let me see, probably the question from Roland. I don't know if we can answer right now. If we can
no, not now, I think.
Yeah, probably on the next session or in the master class with a longer time. Roland, I hope you understand, Roland. Thank you. Next would be from Jose Espinosa. Is it likely to happen, since nothing is perfect? What if there are some errors or malfunction within the platform? What will be the steps Favor IoT will do, and how will the users be assisted?
It's a very tricky question, you see. Okay, so therefore, see, what we have done is that if you say connectivity, okay, so we host it in the public cloud, right? So we depend on the public cloud, similar to, you're asking like, Google, what happened if Google is down, something like that, right? So we are using DigitalOcean as the public cloud, which has a very high success rate, right? So about 99.999%. Now, even then, if it has some disruption, it will be very minimal. That is in terms of connectivity. In terms of the data, we using a multiple servers to store the data. So the data is replicated. So assuming this one particular server is down, the data still be extractable. Data can still be pushed to the different servers. So there is a redundancy kind of a thing. This is actually provided by the system itself. But of course, nothing is perfect. Yes, we have, our people constantly monitoring, and we do support as much as possible. That's what.
Thank you for that. Next, coming from Mark James, what's the biggest project that have integrated Favor IoT into its system?
Biggest project. The reason why is the building monitoring. Of course, it's not directly from us. It is our customer. So they want to monitor the building's environment, indoor environment. So they're measuring the gases within the building. They measure the temperature, the humidity, and other parameters. I'm not so sure exactly what the parameters, because it's their own project. And it's a multi-level building with many sensors, which is constantly being monitored. So just one of it. And we have also recently, it's not full scale yet, but this is to monitor the smart meters, smart water meters, practically. So that uses NB-IoT this is a connectivity module. So they capture the consumption of this is actually a pilot project. It's not a full scale project yet. So they constantly measure the consumption every hourly and then send it to the platform. And then the platform, we build a separate dashboard for it and then display it. So similarly, also has a smaller scale weather monitoring as well. It's a mini weather monitoring station. So these are some of the projects that we have for now. I mean, that we know of, because there are some users, they subscribe to it and they use it for their own, which we do not know what the purpose is. Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Thank you. Coming from William, another question, Doctor, is our platform has a provision for AI interface or connectivity?
Yeah, good one. Good one. In fact, it is in our roadmap, actually. We do not have an interface for AI yet, but we are hoping to provide that maybe in this coming months. So we are actually preparing for it because we are not the expert within the AI. So we need to work with the a specific AI tool. So what we will do is that we provide an interface for that. So for now, it will be kind of either you push it to a third-party AI model, right? So you push the data, you can do that using the HTTP post or RPC, or you extract the data, you analyze it separately. So if you say interface, the current interface is the HTTP post that you already have. So you get the data, you push it in real time, but you build that AI tool separately, not within the platform.
Okay, Dr. Gopi, thank you very much, because I asked that question early today with Dr. Maslan. And then I'm happy that you are telling this as to now. We're looking forward for that, because this is something that we're looking to also, the AI, because like myself and Richard, we're interested in IR 4.0. So we would have to go through those specific items, and also our team and also our students or subscribers will be interested in that. So I think we hit already a lot of things with you. So let's take a look at it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And by the way, I have the winners here. Of course, we will contact through email as well. The first is Abis Olaira. The second is Richard Q, and the third is Jessa Mai Menzano. Of course, we will contact them
Those are the
personally.
winners.
Pardon?
Those are the winners, Dr.
Yeah, the
Gopi.
three winners I mentioned. Yes, there are three winners. The first is Abyss Olaira. Second is Richard Q.
Q.
Third is Jessa Mai Menzano. So
Jessa Mai.
congratulations. Yeah, congratulations to three of you. And of course, even though it's a subscription that we have given for 1 year, for those who want to explore the Discover, they can register for free and use it as well. There's no issue.
Yeah, that app is very good actually. I tried that the free version.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
But it's a good thing. It's just like here in the Philippines, there's a sample like that. It's a simple tracker, but that app is really good if you try to explore more. And then for those winners, congratulations.
Right.
You have
Yeah,
you have
congrats,
free
congrats.
subscriptions for 1 year.
So thank you
That's
so much, Roy. I pass it back to you. So I hope it benefits the participants. Yeah.
Yeah.